Welcome to SATV News. This is Riaz Mahmood with our headlines. Restoring public trust in polls a major challenge, says CEC Nasir. Upcoming election will meet international standards. People across Bangladesh want positive change, says Tariq Rahman. Practice of democracy must be increased within party. Honey trap setup led to journalists killing in Ghazipur, says the GMP Commissioner. Tuhin killed for filming crimes of syndicate. Now in details. Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin today said that restoring public trust in elections is a significant challenge. Speaking to journalists following a meeting with election officials in Rangpur this morning, he also emphasized that organizing a free, fair and impartial election remains the primary task for both the government and the Election Commission. Highlighting the global law and order context, the CEC noted that while political transitions often lead to unrest in many countries, Bangladesh's situation remained relatively stable. He expressed a hope for further improvement in law and order ahead of the upcoming election. The CEC further addressed past electoral controversies, stating that this election would meet international standards. Regarding election staff, the CEC mentioned plans to replace field officers criticized in previous elections. He also outlined strategies for voting in line with the country's geographical challenges. BNP Acting Chairman Tariq Rahman said people across the country now seek positive change. He also said that practice of democracy must be increased within the party. He made the remarks today, joining virtually as the chief guest at the National Conference of the Doctors Association of Bangladesh held at Will's Little Flower School and College in the capital. Refuting the claim that democracy does not exist within political parties, he said today's DAB Council proves that it is not entirely true that there is no democracy in political parties. He added that he will take part in the organizational conferences of 2 districts over the next 2 days. Reaffirming his commitment to implement BNP's 31-point agenda, he said to ensure accountability in the country, the Reform Commission has discussed BNP's 31 points with various political parties. If we form the government, these points will be implemented. Building the nation requires collective effort. No single party or government can do it alone. Meanwhile, during the same program, BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir declared Tariq Rahman as the future Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Mr. Fakhrul further emphasized the need for a democratic system that guarantees not only voting rights but also access to health, life and basic freedoms. The brutal killing of journalist Asaduzzaman Tuhin in Ghazipur was preceded by premeditated honey trap incident, Ghazipur Metropolitan Police Commissioner Dr. Nazmul Karim Khan revealed today. Speaking at a press briefing, the GMP chief stated that the sequence of events began when a man named Badsha withdrew Taka 25,000 from an ATM. Soon after, a woman identified as Parul Akhta alias Golapi Begum began harassing him as part of a honey trap setup. A physical altercation followed, during which Badsha punched the woman, prompting her associates to attack him with sharp weapons. As Badsha tried to escape, a group of armed assailants chased him. Journalist Tuhin, present at the scene, began filming the incident on his mobile phone. Upon noticing this, the attackers demanded that delete the footage. When he refused, they fatally attacked him with sharp weapons. This was a planned act of violence, said Commissioner Nazmul Karim. The use of a honey trap was a tactic to set the stage for the assault. Tuhin became our target only because he recorded the scene, he added. Police have identified 8 suspects from CCTV and video footage. 7 of them have been arrested, 6 by GMP and 1 by RAB. All those arrested are known criminals, with one of the key accused, Ketu Mizan, facing 15 previous cases across different police stations. Dhaka University Vice-Chancellor Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan has announced a ban on student politics in the university's residential halls. Student politics in the halls is prohibited according to the framework of July 17, 2024. The Vice-Chancellor said in front of his residence at around 2:45 am today, after students staged protests demanding a ban on hall politics. To make a formal decisions on the matter, the university administration is scheduled to hold a meeting of the Provost Standing Committee today. The administration will also hold discussions with Jatiyotabadi Chhatra Dal on the issue. After the Vice-Chancellor's decision, students returned to their halls. Later, University Proctor Saifuddin Ahmed told that the decision to ban students' politics in the halls was already in place, and the Vice-Chancellor confirmed that the 17 July agreement would remain in effect. The interim government has taken initiatives to eliminate unemployment and create employment opportunities for the youth, for which technology-based, updated and effective training has been arranged, says Youth and Sports Ministry Advisor Asif Mahmood Shoji Bhuiya. The government is working to ensure a better future for the country's youths, he said, addressing a program at Nator. He said for this purpose, the entrepreneurship development policy has been formulated alongside updating the youth loan policy. The July mass uprising took place under the leadership of the youth, he added. The Ministry of Youth and Sports is working in coordination with the BIDA and ICT Ministry to provide support to the entrepreneurs to build an ecosystem, he said, adding that a task force committee has been formed in this connection. Asif Mahmood said that so far about 150 Upazila mini stadiums have been inaugurated across the country, while construction of the rest of the mini stadiums will be completed in phases. The advisor said that the decentralization policy is being implemented in sports. Viewers are taking a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching SATV News. Now, news from abroad. 3 people were injured in a shooting incident in New York's Times Square early Saturday. The incident, which occurred at 1:20 am at West 44th Street and 7th Avenue, stemmed from a verbal dispute that escalated, according to New York Police Department. A 65-year-old and a 19-year-old sustained gunshot wounds, while an 18-year-old woman suffered a graze wound to the neck, all are in stable condition. A 17-year-old male suspect was arrested at the scene and a firearm was recovered. The 3 victims were listed in a stable condition at Bellevue Hospital. Meanwhile, a man opened fire outside the headquarters of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta on Friday, leaving bullet marks in windows across the sprawling campus and killing a police officer before he was found dead in a nearby building, authorities said. The attack, which unfolded near neighboring Emory University, prompted a massive law enforcement response to one of the nation's most prominent public health institutions, but no one else was reported to be injured. At least 4 CDC buildings were hit, Director Susan Monarez said in a post on X. The gunman was found on the 2nd floor of a building across the street from the CDC campus and died at the scene, said Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shibaum. The shooter was armed with a long gun, and authorities recovered 3 other firearms at the scene, according to a law enforcement official who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation. The gunman's motive is still unknown this early in the investigation, said Atlanta Mayor Andre DeCanz. U.S. President Donald Trump will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate an end of the war in Ukraine on August 15 in Alaska. Donald Trump made the announcement on social media after he said that the parties, including Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, were close to a ceasefire deal that could resolve the 3-year conflict. Addressing reporters at the White House earlier on Friday, Trump suggested an agreement would involve some exchange of land. There will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both, Trump said. The U.S. and Russia were aiming to reach a deal to halt the war in Ukraine that would lock in Moscow's occupation of territories seized during its military invasion, Bloomberg News reported earlier on Friday. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday that Ukraine could not violate its constitution on territorial issues, adding that Ukrainians will not give their land to occupiers. Zelensky was responding to U.S. President Donald Trump's statement that he would meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. President Trump announced preparations for his meeting with Putin in Alaska. Very far away from this war, which is raging on Ukraine's land against Ukrainian people and which anyway cannot be ended without us, without Ukraine, Zelensky said. Ukraine has previously signaled a willingness to be flexible in the search for an end to a war that has ravaged its towns and cities and killed large numbers of its soldiers and citizens. Azerbaijan and Armenia signed a U.S.-brokered peace agreement on Friday during a meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump that would boost bilateral economic ties after decades of a conflict. It's a long time, 35 years they fought, and now they are friends, and they are going to be friends for a long time, Trump said at a signing ceremony at the White House, where he was flanked by Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. Trump also said that 2 countries had committed to stop fighting, open up diplomatic relations, and respect each other's territorial integrity. The agreement includes exclusive U.S. development rights to a strategic transit corridor through the South Caucasus that the White House said would facilitate greater exports. Multiple blasts rocked northern Gaza in the early hours of Saturday, a day after Israel's security cabinet approved a plan to take control of Gaza City. The announcement from the Prime Minister's office early on Friday, following Thursday's security cabinet meeting, said the military would take Gaza City. The move expands military operations in the shattered Palestinian territory that drew strong fresh criticism at home and abroad over its pursuit of the almost 2-year-old war. Meanwhile, 11 people in the Palestinian enclave have starved to death over the past 24 hours, said Gaza's health ministry, bringing the total numbers of hunger-related deaths to 212. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on Friday said that Israel's plan to take control of Gaza City is wrong and it will put the lives of the remaining hostages. Rescue efforts are underway after continuous heavy rainfall triggered mountain torrents in Yongzhou County, northwest China's Gansu province, leaving 10 dead and 33 missing, said local authorities. More than 2,700 rescue personnel have been dispatched by provincial authorities, along with 980 vehicles and pieces of machinery. Search and rescue efforts for the missing, infrastructure repairs and the evacuation and resettlement of affected residents are underway. Torrential rain began pounding Yongzhou, which is under the jurisdiction of the provincial capital city of Lanzhou and other areas of Lanzhou on Thursday evening, with the maximum precipitation reaching 220.2 mm by noon Friday. Several townships in Yongzhou have been seriously affected. Now sports. Hassan Nawaz made a stunning one-day international debut, scoring an unbeaten 63 to guide Pakistan to a thrilling 5-wicket victory over West Indies in the first match of their ODI series. Nawaz joined forces with Hussain Talat to form a vital unbeaten 6th-wicket partnership worth 104 runs, rescuing Pakistan from a challenging chase in the day-night encounter. The duo's efforts ensured Pakistan crossed the line with 7 balls to spare. Earlier, batting first, the West Indies posted a target of 280 runs. Evan Lewis led the scoring with 60 runs off 62 balls. Contributions also came from Shai Hope and Roston Chase. Both Hope and Chase scored half-centuries, chasing 281 to win. Pakistan started strongly with Mohammad Rizwan adding 53 runs before being dismissed LBW by Shamar Joseph in the 38th ball. At that point, Pakistan still needed 101 runs to rescue the win. Nawaz brought up 63 runs from 54 balls, hitting 3 sixes and 5 fours. He hammered a 6 on the second balls of the 49th over and finished the game with a boundary off Joseph's final delivery. Talat contributed 41 runs from 37 balls. William Estevao stole the show as Chelsea opened pre-season with a win on Friday night to beating Bayer Leverkusen 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. Estevao kept his cool to volley in a close-range opener in the 18th minute before dazzling with his quick feet and a lightning pace on the right flank and later through the middle. Liam Delap started up front for Chelsea with fellow striker Nicholas Jackson not in the squad after telling the club he wants to explore his transfer options this summer, but the summer signing had only 13 touches in an underwhelming performance. Joao Pedro doubled his side's lead in the 90th minute with a neat finish into the bottom corner after a fine assist from 18-year-old Genesis Antwi. Chelsea had only returned to training on Monday, yet looked sharper than Erik ten Hag's Bayer Leverkusen and dominated their visitors, who began pre-season on July 7 and had already played 4 matches this summer.
Here he is again in that position, Cucurella, and here is Palmer trying to lift it over the goalkeeper onto the bar and put in by Estevao.
Before ending, we go through the headlines again. Restoring public trust in polls a major challenge, says CEC Nasir. Upcoming election will meet international standards. People across Bangladesh want positive change, says Tariq Rahman. Practice of democracy must be increased within the party. Honey trap setup led to journalists killing in Ghazipur, says GMP Commissioner. Tuhin killed for filming crimes of syndicate. You are updated with our top stories so far here on SATV. And to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.